The Prince family enjoys service. Hospitality is something we pride ourselves on, and we take our time doing that. It's not a fast food. Nashville hot chicken is never supposed to come out fast. If it comes out too fast, you need to send it back. I am Kim Prince, owner of Hotville Chicken, and today I am making Nashville hot shrimp and grits. Wonderful southern dish. Most people say shrimp and grits, but we're going to put a Nashville twist on it. Give it a lot of kick. A little south in your mouth, as I like to say.
The Prince family name in chicken is everything. They are the family that brought us Nashville hot chicken. We are so lucky that Los Angeles has Kim Prince because she brought us the whole heritage of Nashville hot chicken. I think that it's so important that we keep Kim Prince here in Los Angeles and learn from what she has to give us.
Food became important to me because everybody's got to eat first. I came from a large family. The kitchen was the hub. It was the gathering meeting spot. And so as a youngster, me and my siblings, the kitchen was the spot where all the action was happening. I'm supposed to do the dab. Wait.
There we go.
I'm supposed to do the dab.
Show your other dab, Ben, the one that the dance move one. When you do. Is it the dance move, chef, or is it
the bread dab? Oh my goodness! I think my earliest introduction to Nashville hot chicken was when my parents would take us to the chicken shack, or the shack as my family endearingly calls it. We'd go down to the family restaurant. I was 7, 8 years old. Everybody in the family is going to spend some time working in a restaurant, whether you're here in California or whether you're in Tennessee. If we're frying chicken and you are coming to visit, you're going to put on an apron. You're going to help out. You're going to bust a table. 2005, I did some deep research for about 3 years on our family tree. I found that it started with my third great grandmother. She was the head cook at a plantation in Brentwood, Tennessee, and the discovery of that made all the light bulbs go off in my head. How did they fry back then? What resources and ingredients did they have access to then? And there's a common thread through all of it. Chicken, pig fat, cast iron skillets, flame, seasonings like salt and cayenne pepper.
She's just an important part of the restaurant community. We've got her truck and her partnership with Greg Dulan.
Los Angeles, unlike other cities, Chicago, New York, and other cities that I travel to, just doesn't have a large number of soul food restaurants. We just don't. And so I think that any additional soul food restaurants that we get helps to make the city that much richer. At Crenshaw, I'm trying to think of different ways to spice up my menu, if you will. And I'm starting to hear about this hot chicken, Nashville hot chicken. I didn't know what it was. I decided I'm gonna give it a try, put it on the menu. So I got a cookbook and I did some sampling, and the recipe that I found that Kim laughs at me to this day had brown sugar in the recipe. I don't know where it came from.
Chefs in restaurants that are using buttermilk and egg, brown sugar in their Nashville hot chicken recipe. It's not to say that it's wrong. It ain't right.
I was getting ready to buy a ticket to Nashville to visit restaurants there. And my assistant in my office said, hey, this woman named Kim Prince is doing a pop-up in Chinatown. And I see these people in line. And I'm not exaggerating when I say there were over 200 people in line. And then I went over and tasted the chicken, and it was every bit of what those people were waiting for. It was absolutely delicious. I started to see how I could work with them. She was asked to leave the Chinatown location. She wasn't ready to leave, but she was asked to leave. And so I took my van went over to Chinatown. I picked up Kim. I picked up all her equipment. I brought her to Dulan's, and we started doing pop-ups on my patio because I believed in the business that much.
I think that Greg Dulan's partnership with Kim Prince is a really important thing. It's like a way of ensuring that these legacy names last into the next generation.
There are many ways that you can cook different things and it can still be delicious. And so our paper bag recipe technique, if you will, is how my grandmother, Zadie, who's on my truck, used to cook fried chicken in the country. And she would have the flour in the bag with the seasoning, and they would put the pieces of the chicken in the bag, roll it up, and then they'd shake it. That would give the chicken a good coating, and the Princess method is a little different. Both methods are good. The problem is when we're on the truck together, we have to figure out who's gonna fry the chicken. How are we gonna fry the chicken today? Are we fried it this way or this way? So that sometimes there's a little head bumping on that part, you know. But we work it out. I usually let her handle the chicken and I do the collard greens or something like that. So that's how we've compromised. The Dulanville truck was designed from scratch. And I had to design a truck that would accommodate both the Hotville chicken and the Dulan soul food brand. So there's a technique that we do with the Hotville chicken where we sweat the chicken. So I made sure I put racks in for that. With the Dulan soul food, a lot of the food is pre-prepared, you know, soul food, you don't cook it to order. So I put warming cabinets in for that. We have a technique of being able to get the food out really, really fast. So when you see the Dulanville food truck next to other food trucks, you'll notice that our customers are getting their food pretty much as they order. And it's hot, and it's delicious.
The dream of frying chicken keeps me up at night. Like I can hear it just, the grease, I can hear it. And it's like baptize the bird, baptize the bird. Gotta keep baptizing the birds. As long as the chickens are hatching, I'm gonna keep frying. So, in this bowl here, I've got flour. I've got about a 1/4 cup of yellow cornmeal, already pre-seasoned, and white masa. Masa corn is finely powdered, and I like to always put those three together when I'm frying seafood. It's already pre-seasoned, as I said. I like to use like garlic powder, onion powders, all your powders. We've already brought a 1.5 cups of water to a boil. It has some salt in it as well. You want to make sure you have plenty of salt in your water when it's boiling. Why? Because you don't want anything to get sticky or lumpy like rice, all your starches, like ours today. A 1.5 cups of oil in our seasoned skillet. I appreciate a good iron cast skillet to fry in. One of the tips that I would share with anybody who is frying anything of any kind, don't turn the heat up too high. Turning it up too high is gonna burn your product. The other part of it is if you submerge it in too much oil, if it's drowning or getting baptized in oil, then the outside or that coating of your breading is gonna get really, really soggy. So you don't wanna put too much oil in your pan. What I did was I have this in an ice bath with a little lemon on the outside. I'm gonna take that lemon out in just a second, but this is just some salted, peeled, deveined with a tail on large shrimp. I'm going to add into that a little bit of half and half. And then I'll put some little secret seasonings. I'm gonna add that too. That's gonna be part of my brining agent. And then the rest of this half and half is gonna go into the grits. Thank you for having a trash can so close, y'all. I do a technique called wet hand, dry hand. When I've got my protein, I wanna just have one wet hand and I'm gonna keep the other hand dry. All right, keep this other hand dry just so I don't get a bunch of clumps into this bowl. I'd rather that be in that bowl. Got a little bit of cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is my friend. That was about a teaspoon of cayenne pepper being added to my half and half and lemon mixture that was already brining my shrimp. Using my dry hand, fold it over. You just want to cover it over and let it rest for a second. You know your oil is ready, throw a little flour mixture on there. It's gonna bubble on top, but I can't smell it, which is a good thing. If I smell it right away, gotta turn it down, give it a few minutes to cool down just a little bit because I don't want my oil to be too hot. Stone grits. Instant grits are perfect because nobody's got time to wait on grits to cook. We have about 1.5 cups of grits here, going into about 1.5 cups of water that's all boiled and got salt in it. Why do I start stirring it right away? I don't want it to clump up. Then I'm going to add chicken broth. Chicken broth is an amazing agent. It's a beautiful flavoring agent to grits. We got 1 tablespoon of chicken broth. I'm gonna ease in half of that as I stir it in, all right? The other thing that I'm gonna add to these grits is gonna be the rest of my half and half, all right? That's gonna give it that creaminess when we go for our cheesy grits. Tablespoon of butter, I'm gonna add that to it. This is one of my favorite seasonings. I'm gonna shout out McCormick's. McCormick's makes some great seasonings, y'all. McCormick's Montreal steak seasoning. I'm gonna add that in as our butter starts to melt. You gotta keep stirring, that's important. This season is sea salt. It's got fresh peppercorns in it. It's got sage in it. It's got oregano in it. Yeah, but I like how granulated this is. In this bowl here, I've got 2 cups of Italian blended cheese, Asiago, provolone, Parmesan, mozzarella. All right, so we're gonna add that. The cheese is gonna melt on its own. I don't have to bother it anymore. But these are like really savory grits, okay? Let's put that in. Oh yeah, that's the sound. I don't want to overcrowd my pan. The shrimp is going in. I need to start around the edge, work my way to the middle. It doesn't take long for shrimp to cook. They're already starting to get a little color on them. I don't want to cook them too fast. Shrimp cooks really, really quick. They start getting color on them when they start turning like that nice little pink orange color. It doesn't mean that they're ready. When we put them in, the tails are nice and loose. As that heat starts to draw on it and that protein starts to cook, it's gonna curl up, all right? I don't want it to curl up too tight because we don't want tough shrimp today. These are creamy. The other thing I'm gonna do this before our shrimp go in, I'm gonna add a little parsley. I've got a spiced, this got red pepper flakes in it, dill relish. That's gonna go in as a topper. Bacon, who doesn't like bacon? Start turning those over because they're starting to curl on me. And I'm gonna do a little something behind your back so you don't get to see the secrets of how we make Nashville hot chicken hot. All right, I'm gonna take these out, set them on the side. We don't want a ton of oil getting into our grits. So this is gonna go over the top. All right, so we're giving it some kick. All right, so let's put that on there. Aren't they beautiful? One of my game plans is I am going to be introducing this at the LA Times Food Bowl in September. My intention is to make sure that the story is told with our voice, our twang, our soul.
We have so few food-related businesses operated by African Americans in South Los Angeles that you really are able to make a connection with the community. And if your product is good and your service is good, the community really shows you their appreciation.
Voila. We're done, y'all. Nashville hot shrimp and grits.